Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're at. Might be really early morning if you're watching certain places in the world. My name is Matt Bressington. You are watching ELF Live, presented by Euronics. I'm not here alone now, of course. My good friend Jarvis McClam is going to be with me on the show. How are you, Jarvis?
I am great, man. I'm great. I am back another week to talk football, man. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Of course, we got the chat as well. This is an interactive show, as you can see. We're live on multiple platforms. We got YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, and now also Twitter as well. So we have a ton of different platforms. You guys were going to be interacting with the chat, of course. We see ELFpedia, we see Alex Malchow as well, Mike Mathis, we got Lucas, we got tons of different people that were very regulars, new people as well. So it's going to be a good show. We got a lot to get into, of course. We got game previews. We're going to be talking about who's going to be winning these games. We're going to look at matchups and different things with that. We've got a question of the week. We've got fantasy football. We've got a lot going on. But first, we got to talk about the injury reserve. A lot of people had questions about it, and we're going to get into that. But firstly, Jarvis, you ready for the show?
I'm ready, man. Let's get into it, dog. Let's go.
Here we go. Right, let's get into the actual injury reserve explanation, because like I said, some people a little bit confused. They see players go on IR, they see players go off IR. They don't have a definition of what that actually means. So to be very, very clear, IR is explained here on this beautiful graphic by our producer Maxi. Injury gets reported to the ELF head of medical by the team. The head of medical places the player on IR, and the player is not allowed to play in an ELF game for 3 games, 3 active games. You have a bye week, doesn't count towards that 3 games, 3 active games of not being in there. The team is allowed to sign a replacement player during that period. And then, of course, once they're cleared, they go to the head of medical. They ask for clearance. Head of medical says yes. Head of medical says no. And then they can bring that player back into the roster if they want to. Now, of course, Jarvis, there's a lot of different things that can happen with this, but thoughts on IR. It's kind of a weird question, right?
Yeah. But I'm gonna switch it back to you. All right, I'm gonna have a question for you. Who or what players did you see that came onto a team for the guys that was injured? Like a guy that came in the midseason. Who players stand out to you? Or which players stand out to you?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think my personal favorites was last season in Cologne. They had a couple players going on IR. They bring in Carlos Hill and Bijan Harris that just immediately first game, I believe that Bijan got a pick 6 in his first game. Carlos Hill, I think, got multiple touchdowns that just completely span that Cologne season around. So this can have like a huge impact because those guys were superstars during that. Carlos averaged like 100 yards and a touchdown every game. He got close to breaking the ELF single game record. So this can make a really, really big impact on the team for sure. For sure. But of course, we're going to talk about IR now as well because we have the sign-in center, which is going to start, unfortunately, with IR. We never like starting with IR, but it's what we got to do. Sea Devils have activated, though, so this one's more of a positive spin on the situation. Is Michael Leon? Some people in the chat were talking about him coming in, playing it with his injury coming off, but he's been cleared, so we got to assume that he's good. What's your thoughts on Michael Leon coming back this week?
I'm definitely happy for him. Happy for him and the Sea Devils to finally get back on the field. I think he's coming back against the Prague Lions, a team that they beat before, but it's hard to beat the team twice. But I think Leon's going to have a great game. We're going to see what he will do on his return.
Yeah, because he had some moments in that first game. It looks like I put in the graph a little bit Clark-esque with some of his throws, but injuries have been a problem with him since high school. So for me, it's definitely a red flag. Like coming in, he got injured. He played 3 quarters in his debut, gets injured again, comes back in. Now it's a little bit later in the year. Teams are a bit more warmed up. So do you think he's going to elevate his game from week 1, or do you think he's going to kind of take a few weeks to warm back up? Because everyone else already had that warm-up time.
I feel like you really don't have time to elevate your game. It has to be now. A few weeks is not going to get you into the playoffs, so you have to be ready and come now.
There we go. Yeah. So I just saw in the thing they said about ELFpedia saying that league is not actually talking about the injuries, but they are all posted on the website on a Wednesday. So just got to check the website. It will come up who's being placed, who's maybe come off as well that we don't get to talk about on the show. But all of that does happen on the website. So go and check that out. Great place. Go on a lot. You can also check your fantasy, which we'll get into, and stats and everything like that. So important to keep your eyes on the website. That was Michael Leon coming off of injury reserve for the Hamburg Sea Devils to play against the Prague Lions this weekend. Second one, a coach has joined the thread. I'm a big Fred Armstrong guy. Me and Fred, we go way back. We've worked together with the Dutch national team. He's been in Danube in the AFL for years. He's a champion in Austria. He's a champion in the CEFL. He's a former Leipzig King. He's worked with Coach Kent before in Leipzig. He knows Chad Jeffries well because he played in Danube. He's a proper players coach, and this is what I've seen firsthand. He's going to challenge the players in Ryan. They're coming into a three-peat season. He's not going to be taking players that don't want to be there. He's going to say, I think he's going to step in the organization. He's going to be like, if you ain't serious about this three-peat, then don't play. He's a very, 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 very expressive coach. I love Fred Armstrong, but what are your thoughts on this signing?
Actually, I'm actually glad you say that. He's a coach that will come in and be like, hey, if you don't want to be here, just leave. I'm actually glad that you said that. But I think he's a great coach. His resume is stacked. He's been around Europe for a long time. The guys know him, and I think he's going to be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. It would be great to see Ryan Fire come back out with a bit of explosiveness too, because they've not been great offensively, very poor. They've definitely got the tools. I don't think anyone's doubting that. It's just been a little bit, I guess, lacking creativity. And one thing Fred does is have a lot of creativity. But yeah, we'll see how that goes for the Ryan Fire. Of course, we'll be talking about that matchup with Vienna a little bit later. But continuing on, sadly, the other side, the more negative side of the injury reserve, Justice Celic, the Madrid running back, German player, one of the stars of the season so far, is going on to injury reserve. He is the leading receiver back in the ELF. He's got the most receiving yards of any running back. One of the best rookie seasons of all time he was on pace for. You never know. It's only 3 or 4 weeks. We'll hopefully see him back very soon. But he is phenomenal. Just during this season, Jarvis, he's picked up 2 Division 1 offers from his play so far. So he's done pretty good. But what's your thoughts of this? A player of this caliber coming into the ELF as a 20-year-old and just being so damn good?
I think his ceiling is so high. Like, he's a young guy, and he's already proven that he can play in this league. Picking up 2 Division 1 offers is actually amazing. So congrats to you, Celic. But I feel like just take your time with the injury, man. Don't try to rush things because you want to come back and play with your team. That's doing great, but still, just take your time with the injury and come back 100% healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. Because he is just so explosive. Like, I've been watching film on all week, and he's just like, as a receiving back and even as a runner, his bend, his elusiveness is kind of Sandro-esque with the bend of his knees. He's honestly phenomenal. Another player, sadly, also going on to IR is Manny Dennis from the Vienna Vikings. Big fan of Manny Dennis. Shame that he's gone down. He was definitely a standout, one of the leading interception players in the league this year. Vienna Vikings defense has been extremely successful as well with him in that core. Another tough one. Do you think, we'll talk about his replacement in just a second, but how big of an impact is it for a team to lose a star player like Dennis?
It's a big impact, especially losing just one piece to your guys is definitely an impact, especially a player of his caliber, definitely is going to be hurt the team. But as you say, we're going to talk about his replacement coming soon.
Yeah, exactly. And then speaking of his replacement, I had so many messages about this, Jarvis. Everyone's like, oh, it's your boy's coming back to the league. And I sent a list of players. I was like, I don't know, man. I've got quite a lot of players I'm a fan of, but this one is definitely top of it. Devin Taylor. Not only is he coming in for Manny Dennis at the Vienna Vikings, he's a former Raider, Jarvis, which just adds so much spice to it. He's a lockdown cover corner. He's elite in man cover. He's got great hands. Former Philadelphia star. We've had a ton of them in the league. All-star level player, and he plays the Raiders in Week 7. How big are you? Being a former Raider, what's this? Is this going to be something that the Raiders are looking at and maybe feeling some type of way around?
Hey, man, it's like, if you want a guy, why let him go? You feel me? So, hey, anything goes. But it's just crazy. I think they have either 3 or 4 players that play for the Raiders now on the Vikings now. So it's like, hey, maybe they want to go with the best team in Austria. I don't know, but it's definitely a great signing for him.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, there's so many. We're seeing a lot more of players transition between the 2 clubs now, which I think just adds another layer to that rivalry, which I'm really, really excited for. It's going to be fantastic. There we go. It's ELFpedia. Favorite ELF cornerback of all time. Honestly, he might be one of mine too. He's definitely, I don't know how he wasn't an all-star. I voted for him to be an all-star. He's such a talented player. But moving into the more QB players in the ELF, Mercenaries have placed Isaiah Weed on IR, another unfortunate one, but he's been hit or miss, Jarvis. I won't sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna lie, this season more miss than hit. This year he has struggled. He struggled with consistency with overall just elements of quarterback play, but also his offensive line, his receivers, not really stepping up to help him. So he doesn't take all the blame because, you can't do it without weapons, can't do it without protection. But how would you describe currently Weed's season? Because he's such an up and down quarterback, but I want to hear your feelings on this one.
His season, I would say, is just okay. It's nothing like his last season was explosive play after explosive play. This year, like you said, the offensive line is struggling. His receivers and everybody else on the team, it's hard to make that connection, So I would say he's struggling this year, but it's just okay. But I wish him a speedy recovery, man.
Of course. And then coming in to replace him is a familiar face to the league. Mr. Josiah Norwood came in. A very, I'm going to say strange player because he played a receiver in UCLA, a little bit of quarterback in high school, comes in last year to the Panthers, plays quarterback for the Panthers, goes 11-0, touchdown to interception ratio, 7 passing, 4 rushing. Leads them in one of the best games I've ever watched in ELF history against Berlin. But it's weird because he's not really a quarterback. He's smaller. He is more of a receiver. He went D1 as a receiver. But production was good. So where do you go? Do you go for production? Do you go for more of a natural quarterback? Describe this signing, because for me, it's a strange one. I'm more in the side I would go for more of a quarterback rather than a utility athlete.
I mean, I feel like they're trying to not really replace Weed, but it's like those explosive plays that Weed can bring. He can do the same thing. Josiah can do the same thing because I feel like he's an athlete playing quarterback. Just like I played quarterback back in my days sometimes too, but this is like if you have an athlete that can fill in the gap, you're just basically getting by, and you're likely to have 100% more times of those explosive plays. So I think this is a great signing for them.
Yeah, it is strange though, isn't it? Because they do need to have a mobile quarterback because, of course, their offensive line has been producing, as I mentioned. But mobile quarterbacks in the ELF statistically have never really been great because we've got Zach Edwards, and that's really it. Like a championship.
I mean, I'll throw in Cisse in there, man. He was a German. He was a homegrown guy. So Cisse was mobile, man.
Cisse, but he had less throws than Glenn had carries. I think he got 9 touchdowns passing throughout the whole year, if I'm not mistaken. But we're talking about the ELF greats, like the guys that won championships, all-star votes and stuff. I think he was an all-star, to be fair, but I think it's maybe an interesting hypothesis in squad building of just, do you go for the mobile guy or do you go for the guy that just stays in the pocket and delivers dimes? But geez, we'll see it. Aiken, that director's just said Aiken. Aiken didn't win a championship game. I think he only got a couple wins in the ELF. I love Carlton Aiken. He was on my hypothetical Mercenaries team, but Jacob Sullivan as well. All right, Jacob Sullivan. Jacob Sullivan he's mobile now, but
I think he's definitely a passer, man.
Yeah, he's a great athlete, to be fair, very underappreciated athlete. But we'll see. He's not been great this year, if I'm going to be picky about it. But speaking of the games, let's get into the game previews, Jarvis, because these got some very exciting ones. A lot of playoff implications coming this week, and you can see the chat. Some people are very excited about certain players coming through, especially Juju, which I'm also excited about. Going to be interesting. Devin Taylor, of course, getting a lot of love from Juju, a lot of love from Devin. But let's have a look at the slate of games that we have coming into this week. A lot of exciting ones. Of course, we talked about playoff implications a second ago. What one stands out to you? Because we're going to be covering all of these just for everyone to just lock in, because we're going to be covering all these in this exact order. But Jarvis, which one of you stands out?
The one that stands out to me, of course, I'm going to just say it now, just like Malchow say, Matt's Prague Lion versus Jarvis McClam's Hamburg Sea Devils. That one stands out to me, but obviously Ryan Fire and Vikings, because this could potentially, who's going to the playoffs, who's not. But we're going to talk about that later. We're going to see.
Exactly. So let's get into the first one. The Raiders versus the Mercenaries. We just talked about them in depth, about their quarterback struggles and whatnot. But, the Raiders have had their own one. Well, geez, Ray, you're coming out early, Jarvis, with a prediction. I ain't going to lie. Let's have a look at the head-to-head matchup between teams. You can see there the statistics pulled together perfectly. You can see these on the Instagram as well. If you want to take more of a detailed look, they're all on the Instagram of the ELF page. These are some very exciting team. One of them very run heavy. One of them a very explosive offense. We saw how good the Raiders were at controlling the clock last week, and I think that's going to be a big key part of their game when it comes to this one, because my goodness, against the Bravos, they did such a spectacular job of just keeping the ball away from that Bravos offense. Like, I know they can see it 34, but look at that fourth quarter. Oh my goodness. And he just grinded out that clock. Jarvis, talk to me about this one.
I feel like it's going to be a great game. The Raiders definitely going to run the rock like they do. They're going to just pound the rock down their throats, basically. Pause. But hey, they're going to run the rock and just going to give the ball to Toby and Hausabonter, and they're going to run the rock like they do, man.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the question. Hasavant or Bonatti? That's the dichotomy you have when it comes to ELF fantasy football. Which one do you go for? Because one of them is going to pop off, you would expect, but maybe not both, because you can only have a certain amount of carries per time. But as we talked about the playmaking ability of Norwood as well, and that's one of the keys to games, to just contain a mobile playmaker. For the Mercenaries, they need to do a lot to even have a chance of winning this game or even making it close, to be honest. But I think they need to use the athleticism within the team. Talked about Norwood. He's a D1 player. He's a D1 receiver playing quarterback. They can have some fun with that, moving up a receiver. They got an NFL level receiver in Keelan Cole. They can move him around, maybe get fun with the offense. Now is a chance to experiment. We saw the Panthers experimented a lot with Norwood last season, and it had some good results. So I think we're going to see a lot of that. What do you think?
Yeah, just like you said, like get Norwood going, get the ball out, quick passes for them. Hey, if they get the ball out quick, maybe you could potentially, first down, and potentially, because the Raiders are going to run the ball, so the clock is going to get chewed up a lot. But hey, if you get your short passes, you're going to get far with that. So I think they'll be okay.
Absolutely. But having said that, who are you going to go for this one?
I'm gonna go with the Raiders with this one, man. What about you?
I think I'm with you on that. I'm definitely with you on that. I think a loss here for the Mercenaries would be pretty bad, but the Raiders need that win for playoffs, because the playoff spots only get 2 wild cards and want to take the division. And of course, talking about playoff implications, because the Ryan Fire versus Vienna Vikings has a ton of playoff implications, especially for the 2-2 Ryan Fire. Bet you didn't think I'd be saying that this season, because oh my goodness, what a weird year for them. Offense struggled. Now we know that they got in Armstrong now, so maybe he'll steady the ship. He's only really got a week to do it though, so it's going to be hard to see what he can muster up against this Vienna Vikings defense that is incredible. And of course, they're doing it in Vienna, which just adds another element to it. But there's a lot going on with this Vienna Vikings team, man. They are just a phenomenal team. They're allowing 8.8 points per game, like just over a touchdown. From a defensive perspective, it's hard to stop a team just scoring 10 and then losing the game. So this is a tough one, though. What do you think coming into this? What comes out to you as a standout point?
It's the Vikings, man. They're going to play their game, but obviously Ryan Fire, they have to turn it up. They have to turn up the fire, if I should say. They have to turn it up and play their game, play those championship games that they played before, because they played in the Vikings the last championship and they won that. So they have to do their thing and play their game, and they might be successful.
Absolutely. And this is like kind of the trilogy, because we had the championship game, and then Vienna won the first in this against Ryan Fire in their house. So this is kind of the trilogy battle. It'll be interesting to see how intense this game gets during this one. The keys for the Vikings, though, I think they didn't have the most explosive offense against this Ryan Fire team last time. Yeah. They need to push the ball downfield a little bit more. I think they're using a short and intermediate. They've kind of opened up the offense a little bit during this year. I want to see more Noah Torre. I want to see more Obama just jump ball fades, because we saw that beautiful catch by him. Like, oh my goodness. This team is a lot of weapons going on. Of course, they've had injuries. Kari went down. Yannick Meyer went down. But the depth we've talked about a million times. Schultz and then Obama coming back. It's just incredible. So what do you think they're going to do? What do you think the game plan is going to be for Vienna?
I don't know, because you have so many weapons. Like you said, you can go here, you can go there. You can do whatever you want really on the field. And if they play their game, they will be successful, and that's why I'm going to take Vienna Vikings to win this game.
I think it's a good call. I'm gonna go with you as well because it's a tough one. And Ryan Fire potentially going 2-3 would be unprecedented. Would be absolutely huge. Like they could miss playoffs. Very real. We'll get to that in just a second, of course. And that team that could potentially be going 2-3 this week, going against the Nordic Storm is the Washington Panthers. Now this is a team that's had moments, but like are they kind of like we talk about in soccer football, moments FC of just a team that capitalizes on moments, but they don't have any consistency. I kind of feel like that's the Washington Panthers. Like they have these big long runs, they beat up against Cologne, they can have these big returns and have these moments, but in the actual full game, they're not winning very often. Like I know they're 2-2, but like I don't think they're going to win this one. Spoiler alert. The Nordic Storm are just so dominant. You look at those statistics across the board. Jadrian Clark has been phenomenal. Like he's literally had a perfect season so far. He's not thrown an interception yet. We're quite late into the year now, Jarvis, and he's still not thrown a pick. The confidence the team must have having a quarterback that hasn't thrown a pick. Well, that's like talk to me about the confidence of the team.
I mean, the confidence is super high, and it's like you want to play more for your guy. It's like, hey, he has no picks. Hey, make sure we do what we got to do, be in the right spots, block the right people, make sure everything is working well so we can protect our guy and his record right now. Obviously, you're not playing for the record, but in the back of the mind, I know they're like, hey, my man has no picks. We're going to keep it that way. So I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, and I've spoken to JJ, and of course, me and him are good friends. He said he wants to try and see how long he can go without throwing a pick. Does he get over 20 though? I'm gonna call you out on this one. Does he go 20 touchdowns, no picks?
I mean, it's possible. He might throw 4 or 5 this game. So yeah. you never know. So he might go 20 without interceptions, man.
You're gonna annoy a lot of Panthers fans saying that one, but
hey, it's possible. Anything is possible. Anything is possible, man.
I think you might be right because the keys to success for the Panthers, right, it's got to be put pressure on Clark. You got to try and make something happen, right? You got this man's on fire. How you stop him is going to be how you win the game. Winning the special teams as well. Like you say, you stop him on drive, get a block punt or a great return. That's how you're going to get those moments that could potentially lead to making the scoreline advantageous for you because, they've coming off some rough weeks. I won't lie. I know they beat Cologne, but let's be honest. Like they're probably still thinking about that Prague loss because it was a heavy one. Yep. Coming in for the Storm now, like they've got to protect Jadrian Street as we talked about, but the defense needs to make it uncomfortable. Panthers, they kind of lose their head a little bit when it comes to they get a little bit uncomfortable. They just throw the toys out the pram and the game's done. We've kind of seen it. They go down heavy against these teams and not able to rally and make any really sort of comeback. We saw against Prague especially. We saw against Nordic the first time. This team does not like being in uncomfortable situations. That's not all the players, of course. They got some dogs on there, but the mental side of it is definitely important. I don't want to say they're mentally weak or anything, but they haven't got a championship mentality at the moment. What do you think?
I mean, I agree with you, man. They just got to play their game, but I feel like they are playing against the Storm, but if any given Sunday or Saturday, sorry, I'm struggling with that one, but any Sunday or Saturday, and you're going to potentially maybe win the game, but I am going to pick the Storm to win this game. What about you, man?
I agree. The ELFpedia says the higher they climb, the higher they fall. That'll be interesting. You know, what if they get some tough matchups in the playoffs? Maybe. I mean, they're also asking Aiden Stevenson, like, do Nordic lose a game this year? It's definitely a very interesting point. I'm also going to go for Nordic. I think they extend to 5-0 because, my goodness, like this team is looking phenomenal. Jadrian looks like an MVP. If you're not going to give it to Crookshank, you're going to give it to Jadrian at the moment. Like they're playing so phenomenal. There we go. I mean, see, there's another. Should I be up at 4 a.m. right now to watch this, or should I sleep in? You should be watching ELF football, no matter the time. Look at Nick, our host as well. He had his honeymoon. He's still watching ELF ball. I'm watching ELF ball constantly. It's my obsession. I'm obsessed. I'm addicted to ELF ball. Should definitely be watching it at 4 a.m. We talked about this one a little bit earlier, Jarvis, as well, though. The matchup between our two teams, Jarvis is Sea Devils versus Matt Bressington's Prague Lions. This one's a tough one. I mean, we'll have a look at the numbers. It's tough on both sides, though. You know, both teams have struggled. I'm going to be real. Like, you look at the numbers and the stats for Prague. You know, none of them are like elite level, but they got 2-2, most wins in Prague Lions history. Sea Devils 2-3, really good rushing attack. Passing offense has not been good this year. They've had a leaky defense, we'll say that. But look at that, though. Prague Lions 6th in points allowed defense. I'm so proud of my boys over there. What's your thoughts on this one then? I know you got a lot to say on the should we call it the McClam Bressington Bowl or what?
Hey, we might make this happen. We might as well. But I feel like Sea Devils is going to come out and play their game. They're going to run the ball. They're definitely excited to have their quarterback back, Leon, to come back and take the reins over. And also for the Prague Lions, man, you have some players that are coming back as well. So, hey, we're going to see how it goes, man.
There we go. See, I'm with former ELF quarterback Stephen Duncan. Prague getting it done 100%. Like, you look at a lot of people are fired up about this one. You can see in the comments. Jeez, we got a lot of people fired up for the Prague Lions. I mean, let me just get a little bit hyped up for a second for the return of Juju Embry, one of my favorite corners in the entire league. Him and Hike. I made a whole video about this in the preseason. That this is going to be the best duo in the league. We had injuries. Embry goes down. I kind of had to wait for a minute, and now he's back. And I think this duo, the hype video was incredible. This duo is one of the best cornerback duos in the league. It's phenomenal. I cannot wait to see this. And I think those two, especially with their very aggressive style, are going to make hell for Michael Leon. I think this one, especially him coming off an injury, maybe he's a little bit rusty. I think we're getting, Jarvis, I'm going to call a shot here.
All right.
3 picks.
3 picks. Woo! 3 picks.
3 picks. 3 picks. Maybe 2 by Jalen or 1 by Ken or other way around. Maybe they're just putting so much pressure. Maybe Arthur Kingdom gets a pick. You know, we'll find out. But I'm calling 3 picks. I'm calling 3 picks. What do you reckon?
I'm going to say no picks, man.
No picks.
Those are my guys. Ken Hype's my guy. Jalen, Juju. They're my guys. You know what I'm saying? But I got to roll with my Sea Devils on this one, man. I'm going to stand up on this one. 10 toes down. Sea Devils, man. I'm going to ride with my guys, man. I feel like Leon's going to come back and do his thing, man. He has to. We
literally have the Sea Devils in the chat now. Oh. Saying for the Sea Devils. So, like, you know, we've also got Marik saying about the Lions. We got a lot of people. Marcus is saying he want to watch me cry. Like, this might be one of the biggest like games of the weekend, just because me and you are just so involved with this one. Oh my goodness, I've not seen this much hype for this game before. But the keys to success for this one for the Sea Devils, for me, they've got to get Kitchens involved. Yeah. Like, I know he's been Dublin. Beef with him and Raji is incredible. I love it. He has not been elite so far this season. I think he's around like 25th, 26th for sacks, which is for a defensive player of the year. It's not the level that you would expect from him. He is getting doubled and tripled by the offensive line, but that's when the other guys in this defensive line need to step up, or the defensive coordinator needs to find him a way to get involved. He has just joined the chat as well. We're just talking about you, Kyle. We need to see more, Kyle. You know, I know you're a guy that gets fired up on criticism. I know me and you have had our conversations during FIBO. We need to see multiple sacks, Kyle. Like, what do you reckon, Jarvis? Multiple sacks? I called a shot on 3 picks. You got to call a shot on Kyle's sack.
You know what? You said 3 picks. I'm going 3 sacks, man.
Ooh, against you. I want to see Jasper Friss. If Jasper Friss is watching, please comment on the chat, because he is the current tackle for the Lions. I want to see that. I mean, even Mason Park is in the chat. Oh my God, this one's a hell of a hyped game. I'm so excited. This has just got me more psyched up for this one. Who are you going to go for, Jarvis? I got a strong feeling I know who you're going to go for.
You know who I'm going to go for, man. You already know. I'm going with the Sea Devils.
See, that's your first mistake of the show currently then, Jarvis, because you see the Prague Lions are going to win this one, because the Prague Lions, it's Matt Bressington's Prague Lions. You know, there's a W in Coach Warner for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, Dan Dish is going to dish out W's. That's what he does. You know, this is the best team that's ever been in the Czech Republic. I'll stand on that.
I'll give you that.
You got to agree with me on that one. I think they go 3-2. And you know what happens if they go 3-2? they're like not out of playoff contention. I don't want to be saying, nothing crazy, but 3-2 would have them second in the East and not completely out of playoff contention, which is insane.
But they have to get the W. That's the thing. If they don't,
yeah, actually, I don't want to live in a world where they don't get the W on this one. I talk too much. Speaking of playoff implications, there's another one coming up next. The Ravens with a lot of playoff implications because they want to try and top this group too. Because we will look at the divisions in just a second, but the South is so competitive at the moment, and the Ravens are currently top of that group, and they want to maintain the key points for this one. You look at the numbers as well, like they kind of took a lot of their players off last week because they were up by 35 in the first quarter, which kind of speaks to how like explosive this offense is. They need to keep Tabor hot. Russell Tabor is one of the hottest young prospects that we've had in the league so far coming into all of the years. And they need to keep him creative, keep him moving, keep him diamond, just keep his confidence high. He's a young guy, he's on a 3-year deal. They know what they're going to get with him now. He's been great. What do you think?
Yeah, just like you said, he's been great. Definitely hot in this league. He's doing his thing. He's playing ball. And I feel like if he keeps doing this, he might be up for the MVP. I feel like if he keeps balling out every week, he might be up for the MVP.
I like that. It's not a bad call, to be fair. I don't think that's crazy. And he's going against a Berlin Thunder team that struggled. I'm gonna lie. I do think that the Enthroners could have maybe snuck a win in some kind of alternate timeline, but Berlin, they need to, first and foremost, they need to get a bloody run going. Like, let's be honest. We talk about every single week. I know it's kind of like beating a dead horse at the moment because we talk about every single week. You are not going to beat the Ravens if you cannot have a diverse offense. They are so good at defense, the Ravens. You look at that defensive line, look at Darkway, look at Louis. Like, they've got such a damn good run defense. And they could just drop guys into coverage if you're not going to run on them, and they'll just beat you that way. So it's tough. I do think it's tough. Do you think they got the pressure on defense to this team to put Russell on his back foot? Because Russell will throw off his back foot. We saw against the Raiders. What do you think?
I mean, I feel like they can get pressure on Tabor, but at the same time, it's like their O-line is pretty decent. So it's going to be tough for them, but they can do it. Like I said, anything can happen on any of these games, so they can get that pressure.
I agree. I think ultimately, though, I think we probably agree on who's going to win this one. Who you got?
I got the Ravens with this one.
Yeah, I agree. I think this one extends their win streak. They go up to the top of the division, potentially 4-1, and that'll be really, really big deal for them. You know who else could go 4-1? It's a Stuttgart Surge. I know Marcus has just jumped out of his seat with excitement on this one. Playing against the Cologne Centurions, 0-4. You look at the numbers. Of course, this one you'd expect to be a one-sided one. I'm going to be completely transparent with you. I'm not going to try and be a snake oil salesman to you here, but talk to me, because with the keys to the game, I've just got like experiment, youth guys. You know, you got to try and find some guys that can make something happen. What do you think?
You have to do something, just like you said. Experiment. Hey, if it works, scratch. If it works, keep going. If it doesn't work, scratch. All right. You know what I'm saying? Just experiment with everything. Just try your luck. Do those trick plays. Do anything you can to try to get some momentum going. Because once you have momentum, guys rally off of momentum. I'm one of those guys. Hey, the fans are rocking. The players are into it. Momentum can swing just like that. If you get it, just try to hold on to it, and you might be successful in this game.
Absolutely. And the CC Marcus is going to be at the game. So is Lenny Craig, who's obviously the German kicker just signed with the Falcons, who was on the Surge last year. Love Lenny. Yes. So glad to see him coming back for a bit of a homecoming, I think, with the Surge. With them, kind of keys to the game. Maybe a little bit harsh. I think maybe Cologne can take a bit of spark out of this if they want to. For the Surge, I think you keep players rested. I think you go up heavy in the first quarter, take Riley out, take Tyrell out. Maybe I'm saying that because I'm playing those guys in fantasy football. I want to see those guys beat me, but that's what I'm thinking. I think they kind of need to be careful. Injuries happen. You don't want to have anything bad happen to players, but you have more than enough talent on the coaching staff and on the field to make this a fairly comfortable game. What do you think?
Yeah, just like you said, like keep the players rested. That's one. Create those turnovers, but also when keeping the players rested, you take them out halftime or second quarter, depending on how this game goes. If the Cologne Centurions start coming back, how long is it going to take to get those guys warm again if you put them back in? This could also be a trap game to them, a trap game too, you know what I'm saying? So don't fall asleep too early. Just put them away early if you can, and that's why I'm going to go with the Surge on this one, man.
I mean, that's a good point. We have seen Surge lose to the Raiders and lose to Helvetic before when they were expected to win. So I'm not saying that those teams are the same as Cologne, but, you get my point. I do agree. I think I'm going to go for the Surge too. I think this one should be fairly comfortable, but one that's not going to be comfortable for either team because this is and directors just said Galaxy versus Surge 2021. That was a big one too. So we'll find out. 2021 feels like such a long time ago now, but Galaxy, speaking of which, versus the Musketeers. Now this is a rivalry that's brewing, and I love it because, of course, first game these guys played, they looked like the guy. It was all Galaxy, and all of a sudden it becomes all Paris, and all of a sudden we get one drive that just sends it into purple hell, and the Galaxy come away with a game-winning field goal. This has got to be one of my favorite ones. You have it. Oh, of course we do. We have Keelan Cole, who's played. We had Qasim as well. We played with the Saints for a while. We had Cole as well. We played with the 49ers. Oh, you tested my knowledge now. But we've had a ton of guys that have had NFL experience. Marcel Beard just went to the 49ers on a practice squad situation this season. Lenny Craig, of course. We've got Ed Barley, who was currently on the Texans roster. Yep. We've got a ton of guys that have come from the ELF. Cavante Turpin being the main one. Yep. Cavante Turpin played with the Panthers, goes to
Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, gets the MVP in the USFL, and then goes to the Dallas Cowboys, and is now, I believe, the highest paid return specialist in the league. And he was an ELF alumni. So we've got a ton of guys that have come from NFL and back and forth. So good question, great question. So this one is a rivalry. We love it. There's a lot going on. Del Rio, I don't know how I didn't even get into the coaching staff when it comes to that, because half the coaching staff has come from the NFL.
It's maxed out, man.
Of course, Fred Armstrong spent time with the Jets. Like, we've got, like you say, Del Rio. We've got by Andrews. Like, in this game, this is literally two coaches that are in this game are currently coaches that were in the NFL. Like, we've got guys that have been all over. Like, half the coaching staff that's in the ELF has been at some point in the NFL or spent 20, 30. Andrew Wandinger as well spent multiple years in the NFL as a coach, and the scout. The list is honestly too long to fit into a 1 hour or even just a 1 hour single episode on that. But that might be a good little fun segment of what players have played for this week. So that could be pretty good. With this game now, I've got a fun keys to success for this one for the Galaxy. I think you'll like this one, Jarvis. Bring your own food for the trip. Like, you can. Yeah, I know you've got food poisoning, but you can't be eating away again. You're playing in Paris. You got to just bring some pasta or something that you've cooked that won't give you food poisoning. What do you think?
I mean, of course, bring your own food. You don't want to get food poisoning, for one. It's hard to play on food poisoning. Almost impossible. But yeah, bring your own food. But I feel like if they play their game, they're gonna do good. Create turnovers, as you can see. The offensive line needs to step it up. But I feel like the last game they played, they got out fast. They got out real strong. Do not fall asleep. If you fall asleep, I don't know what to tell you.
Oof, that's a big one. I think they did in that fourth quarter, and we see that ELFpedia saying Henderson breakout game has to be. I would say so. So it has to be. I think he kind of had his breakout game in the last one that these guys played. But you are right. There would definitely be some question marks to go 2 and 3. They need to get started for the fourth quarter, though. That's definitely the main thing. They would have won this game if they started that, fourth like they didn't. You know what I mean? If they started in the first like they did in the fourth. That's what I'm trying to say. But the weapons need to go open. I know with that offensive line, it isn't great. The Galaxy were just able to send 3 and drop 8 into coverage, essentially. So it's hard to find space for that coverage. But they need to find a way. They need to either improve the offensive line, give Jalen more time. Jalen is an elite quarterback in this league, and he can find a way to make something happen. So I think it's a good one. I mean, the people the comments are saying about stay away from the French cuisine, I think is maybe a good idea. Personally, not a fan of of that one. So I think that's a good advice for this one. What do you reckon? What can you envision? I know, are you a visualizer, Jarvis, like visualizing games before they happen?
Sure,
yeah, what do you visualize for this one?
I say, I think the Musketeers are going to come out first. They're going to come out first swinging, right? Because they came out lackadaisical the first 3 quarters of the game the last time. So they don't come out swinging. Maybe turn it down around halftime. But at the end, they're going to take the W. Ooh. They're going to take the W big. So I'm seeing 20 plus points in the second half. I'm seeing from the Musketeers.
Okay, so what do you reckon? Over under? We like doing over unders at the moment.
So 20, 30. Over 30 for sure.
Over 30 for both teams combined, over 30?
No, I'm talking about Musketeers only.
Oh, okay. Well, what do you reckon the Galaxy to get if Musketeers scoring 30? Well, I gotta push you on this one because I know you actually hate me. I can say whatever I want to the Galaxy at this point.
Man, these are your people. The Galaxy is your people, man. Don't have them turn on me too.
They turned on me. They took Nick with me. I'll keep you safe for now if you want. You know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna say Paris get the win.
Okay.
Well, only the Paris get the win because last time they scraped the win and then they had the audacity to call me out after they scraped a 1-point win on a game-winning field goal where they nearly blew the 4-point lead. So I think they're going to lose, and they're going to lose by they lose by against the Storm. They lost by a lot against the Storm.
They didn't score any points, I think.
Yeah, they got goose egged. I don't think they're going to get goose egged again, but I think they're scoring less than 10, and I think the Musketeers are scoring 30. I think I agree with you on that one. I think it'll be Musketeers from the start. They get a little bit colder at half, like you say, and then they just coast it because Galaxy, they can't do much on offense at the moment. Of course, so I'm pointed out, depends how healthy Sandro is. That is definitely a big part of this one. But overall, I'm gonna go with this one. A lot of people think Paris. There we go. Marcus thinks Paris. He says it's going to be a close one. I think it could be. To be fair, this me. I'm taking it a little bit too far with the Galaxy hate. I just kind of want them to reply to my hate messages sometimes. So we'll see how they go. But this one should be a really fun matchup. That wraps up our game previews. We get the full stretch of them at the moment, Maxi. That'd be unbelievable because I want to talk a little bit about the playoffs of this one as well because you look at all those games. Which one? First of all, and I'll ask you this every time. You're only going to watch one. Which one are you going to watch?
Obviously, Prague Lions, Hamburg Sea Devils. But the one question is, or the one that we really should watch is Galaxy Musketeers because that's the one everyone's talking about. Hey, are they going to get their get back? 1-point win? Is it? You know what I'm saying? So that's definitely a game to watch.
Yeah, people do seem excited about one, but I've never seen more people excited for the Prague Lions versus Hamburg Sea Devils. I mean, glued to the screen on that one, watching every single play. This one's a big one, but we talked about playoffs a little bit. At the moment, Jarvis, currently as we stand within the ELF, of course, we have the full standards there. You can play along at home. The division leader has the playoffs, of course, and then we have 2 wildcard spots between the other teams within the league with the best record. At the moment, I'm looking at the playoffs. The Raiders and the Galaxy are currently in the playoffs. The Galaxy dropped this one to the Musketeers. It could be gone like that. The Raiders maybe get a little bit maybe lackadaisical. They could lose that playoff spot immediately as well. So there's a ton of people. At this point, I'm going to read you out a fact right now.
Yep.
The Bravos and the Rhine and the Musketeers, none of them are in the playoffs right now. How does that make you feel?
Hey, it's going to be a shock for the Rhine Fire fans. That's all I got to say. If they don't make the playoffs, it's not me. I'm just saying, it's not me. But it's definitely interesting to see that they're not in the playoffs right now. But hey, they're starting slower. Maybe they can grind it out by the end of the season. But we're going to see who knows.
Yeah, because I think a big point for me is people talk about scores, right? We had some blowouts last week. People always talk about scores. The only thing that people focus on, rather than the great players, great football, great coaching we get to witness every week in Europe as well. This league is so phenomenal. I live and die by the ELF at the moment. So phenomenal league. And when you just look at the talent that's currently mixing for the playoff spots, of course, there are teams that have little to no playoff hopes, let's be honest. But the teams that do, Nordic Storm, new team, completely new this year, 4-0, take the division. The South is just an absolute treat. You got Munich that are 3-1, the Raiders that are 3-2, Bravos that are 3-2 as well. You got the East with Vienna, who are naturally going to take the division, but then Prague and Vorstadt, both 2-2, a bit of form, and they're in playoff potential. West Division, Surge currently take it with 3-1. Galaxy at 3-2. Musketeers are 2-2 with the potential in this week to leapfrog.
Yeah.
Like, although the scores people may be looking at some of the score difference, the playoffs are wide open.
Yeah,
we could see a full mix of playoff situations. And that's something I'm really, really excited for coming into next week and this week and just every week. Oh my God, I'm just, like, every time I'm thinking, I go to bed thinking about the playoffs. It's great. Really, really excited for this one. But yeah, that will conclude our previews for this one. Heading in now, though, to the Euronics and Gigaset question of the week. This one's a good one, Jarvis. We've seen it, of course, before, about which player has had standout performance, best performance in new threats. And I think I'm going to, and it's by, I like the name, Tony Montoya with the submission. If you want to submit your own questions, of course, they will be on the Euronics Instagram as well every week. So people want to get involved with the show, that's where to do it. This one's interesting. I'm going to go for like a player that's been in ELF in new threads. I'm not going to count the new guys. So no Crookshank, no Sinnott, no Jalen Henderson. You got to go for a guy that's played in the ELF and is in a new uniform this year. Who are you going to go for this one?
It's kind of tough, man. But I think you have to say Jadrian Clark, man. But to be honest, you can say the whole Nordic Storm team, really. Yeah. You got Jadrian Clark. You got Luke Glenna, Xavier Edwards. You know, they're doing their thing on their team for a new team, actually, and it's exciting to see, and they're playing their game. So I think those guys or that team is the new threads, man. They're doing their thing.
Yeah, even Max Parkinson, Chad Walbrand as well, like those guys, Andrea Botello Moreno as well. Like, literally, it's a new thread team completely. So every player is going to look phenomenal with new threads in that one. I'm trying to think. I'm going to go for a Prior Lion. Surprise, 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 surprise. I'm gonna go for Hike. He's a lockdown cover corner so far. We know he's an all-star level guy, and he's been excellent. I think Jasper Friss as well, low key, could be in that conversation. He's a great on the offensive line. There's a ton, of course. We could go on for hours about our favorite signs of the week, but this was a great question, of course, presented by Euronics and Gigaset on the question of the week. Now, importantly, rounding it out, staying for fantasy football. A lot of fantasy football fans in the chat. I'm a fantasy football fan, Jarvis. You're quite new to fantasy football this year, but I think you're getting into it a little bit more this year.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to learn the game, man. For people who's new to fantasy football, I'm just like you, man. I'm not really a big fantasy football player, but I'm doing it. I'm trying to learn it, and it's okay if we're not that good, but hey, just keep going. And I feel like I'm getting better week after week. So we're going to see our team soon.
See, I'm currently 12th in the world, so I'm feeling good, but I feel a little bit annoyed because our friend Alex Malchow is above me, and Elefapedius in the chat is also above me. I don't think I can have that. I'm 5. You know what's crazy? I'm 5 points off of 10th place. So you see the Bressingtons will be in there very soon. But if you're somehow unfamiliar with fantasy football, which is presented by Citizen, of course, this is a big part. Remember the Citizen name, because you got to build a team. You get a quarterback, 2 receivers, 2 running backs, tight end, flex, and a kicker, special teams, as per usual in fantasy football. The big thing is with the ELF football, though, every week the winner gets a completely free Citizen watch gifted to you. Just win the week, you get it. You could start today, you could start next week, you could start a week ago. Don't matter what your total score is. You win this week, you get a Citizen watch. That's not it. There's more prizes. You get 160 points during any point of the year. Again, you can start today, get 160 this week, instantly entered into the raffle to win VIP tickets to the championship game in Stuttgart. Incredible. Say you're a long-time fan, you think, I'm kind of stuck in the mid-table like me. I'm stuck outside 12th, outside the party a little bit. Need a bit of motivation. If you win, this is incredible though, Giles. If you win the whole year of fantasy football, you get a very, very high quality special wristwatch by Citizen, the model NA1010 84X, which is incredible. Google that. It's on the, you look on the fantasy football page on the ELF website, you'll be able to see the name. Incredible looking watch. Currently, we have our winner, which is one of the producers of ELF Live, so he's doing fantastic in his role. Talk to me about your team at the moment, Jarvis, because you've got some choices.
Yeah, I got some choices. Actually, Russell Tabor, my quarterback, Rodney, running back, and also Chris Kai, also my second running back. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of mixing it up here. You know, I'm Munich Ravens heavy once again this week because they are playing, you know, they're playing that team. You know, then I got a Hamburg Sea Devils, Tasmir Sec, and obviously your Willie P. Willie P doing his thing. And then got my guy Cruz, Levi Cruz, and Kai Hunter. He's a second string for the Surge, but I feel like if the Surge get out early, he's going to play more. So I'm thinking logically here. You know what I'm saying? Then like Eric Schlamy as my kicker.
Oh, I do like that call with Kai Hunter. I could be sneaky because he's a very, very talented running back. I've gone for a bit of a different one. Okay. Because, of course, the way that our league works, the players' value goes up and down. Okay. So I've been doing a little bit trading with players, you know, getting my money up a little bit. I've gone for a very stacked team, I must admit. I've got Jadrian. I think he's, like we say, we think he's going to go over 20-0. I think Bonatti, kind of, you know, Hasvan to Bonatti, which one you go for. I'm going for Bonatti, maybe a bit of a risk. Chris Micaiah, one of the best running backs that we've ever seen enter into the league. He's probably, now that we don't have Celic, maybe he is lock-in for Rookie of the Year, so I'm going to go for him. Willie P, Dal Stewart, of course. Bolio, who is the best fantasy receiver, I think, points per game. Andrea Botta Moreno. You know what? I made a big mistake last week. I had a great week last week, and I picked a tight end from Berlin, Schumann. I thought we were going to have a big one because Berlin passed a ton. He got 0 points, and I didn't get in the top 10 by 5 points. It was scenes. It was absolute scenes. I was furious, but damn. I mean, there you go. See, the weekly watches valued a lot of money. So some very, very high quality good watches. So if you want to win one of them, just play fantasy football. Again, it's completely free. It's very easy to set up. It takes 5 seconds on the ELF website, which you can easily access to, and get started because its risk reward is incomparable. It's way and away it favors you guys. So it's very, very good. See people already debating. They're not going to go for Rodney because he only had a couple carries last week. That was one of the ones that also sunk my ship. So that was tough. Surge defense, that's one of my ones. They're playing against Cologne. They're going to get some turnovers. This was a good show, though, Jarvis. What do you think? Round us out with some motivational talk.
Great show. But I'm going to give some real motivational talk right now to my Hamburg Sea Devils. I know Matt's going to love this. Play your game. That's all I have to say. Play your game. Do what you do. Play that Sea Devils football, man. Bring that early 21-22 Sea Devils feel with the defense, and we're going to be okay, baby. We're going to be okay.
Plus, yeah, if you mean Hamburg football and you mean losing by 20.
Hey.
Me and you are going to be at each other during this game, I think. You know what would be, oh man, I wish we could go on commentary together at this game.
That would be crazy.
That would be great. It's been a pleasure, guys. Thank you everyone in the chat who's joined for the show. Of course, couldn't have done it without you. Couldn't have done it without Euronics as well. Go and subscribe everything on the YouTube channel. We have live games as well, still being live on the YouTube channel as well. Thank you everyone who's tuned in. Thank you, Jarvis, for being my my co-host. Thank you to all of our ELF producers. Thank you to Maxie as well, specifically. I'll see you guys next week Friday for the Monday for the wrap-ups. I'm thinking all about the football now. My head's gone. I'm just getting so hyped up about Prague. See you later, guys, at 6 p.m., by the way, on the Monday show. Make sure you guys set your calendar for that. That's Central European time. See you guys then. Enjoy the football this week. See you next time.